If we look at um, what we do now, and actually its derivation is everything from before ChatGPT 3, which was you would analyze every use case that came into your organization. You would assess its risk, and you would um, report back whether there was a risk, whether it was something that needed to be mitigated, so on and so forth. With the coming of generative AI, and particularly what we're going to see in agentic AI, that's not a possibility anymore. The only thing you're going to have to be able to do is recognize it's beyond human capacity to follow all these use cases, one, and or two, or B, whatever. The other thing you will have to do is decide you're going to manage via risk as opposed to review everything. You won't be able to do that, and a big challenge you will face is how to identify risk in what's coming at you in your organization. Yeah, I think for some companies and large organizations, it's already here. For others, it's on its way, but it will all be here in the next 12 to 18 months. And so the challenge is how do you change your organization or your programmatic dealing with um, AI to make sure it's still trustworthy inside the company. And I think the two things that are really practical to consider is you have to automate because it's too much. So you have to figure out how to automate things. And then you have to try to integrate what you do in terms of AI governance or responsible AI into the other operating procedures inside the company. So in many instances, the RAI programs or AI governance programs started as an independent appendage. And you don't see, you're reaching the point where you can't operate that way. There are too many points of contact between responsible AI, between data privacy, between cyber issues, and the like, and just the overall project management, that you must find a way to integrate uh, AI governance practices within your organization's um, entire programmatic plan. It's speaking strictly for the energy. And the first thing to say is that a company the size of Chevron, you touch AI in all kinds of places. Um, in ways that would be, well, I think this is public, so I can say this. Uh, we have looked at um, test programs at Chevron for having a Chevron sommelier in the extra mile stores because people buy wine in a Chevron store, and trying to create an AI bot to help customers decide what wines to purchase. Now, you wouldn't expect that out of an energy company, but that was a prototypical thing. On the other side of it, when it gets extremely serious, is the use of AI is quite important in when you're dealing with safety issues and health issues. It could be either how do you prevent leaks, or how do you detect leaks before they're going to happen on a pipeline or something like that. It could be, can we use AI to have agents and the like um, do very dangerous operations in the oil field or in the refinery to take humans out of danger to begin with. So it could go to that extent. And lastly, it can be, well, here's a general direction that Chevron follows. This may be very technical, but um, if you take a look at what they call asset management, And asset management is broad, but the basic reality is Chevron has the need to keep in inventory things like pipes, valves, pumps, to the tune of multiple 10 figures. And the question is, what could we do for the purposes of maintenance? And this is again in the weeds, you go from a process of break fix to preventative maintenance, and we all know this from our own automobiles, and we want to get to the point of predictive maintenance, because that, number one, drops the overall cost, and when you look at the incredible volume of things going on, the overall costs of keeping inventory, one, and two, when you can do that effectively by predicting something is going to fail, you not only save money, you also reduce the risk of accidents happening. That's always an interesting question, and not to be overly cynical about it. How do we contrast that? As you know, is it the use? How do we create trusted AI versus untrusted AI? I don't think it's much of a choice really for us. One, if you're taking a look at an energy industry or financial industry or medical or pharma, there are regulations, and you have no choice but to be at a certain level trusted. You have no choice but to do that. But I think the real key to this, or one of the real keys to this, is in fact is embedding these trust-related activities in the overall process, so it becomes part and parcel of what the company does, as opposed to an add-on or checking the box kind of thing. I think you can start by looking at what are the components of a trusted AI governance process or responsible AI, whatever the language we're going to use for that. What are the components that you need? You need to start from some sort of ethical set of principles that you move to, and Chevron, just as MasterCard, or just as we've been hearing recently, the Department of Defense, or whatever they want to call it now, they all have a series of ethical principles by which they conduct their company, and that you need that to translate those principles into what it means for the use of AI inside the organization. That's one. Two, what you need is a way of assessing what you're doing. That's not only inventorying, but really trying to figure out not only what's going on, but what are the risks inherent in any given use case. Then you need a whole process for managing this. And lastly, you need education. And maybe I shouldn't say lastly. And particularly as we move into this new frontier with agentics, we're going to be reliant more and more on people understanding what is going on and what they're going to be faced with, without somebody looking over their shoulder. So that becomes an important part of any trusted AI program.